Have you ever noticed how an ordinary room feels completely different once the lights go out? Just a moment ago, everything looked familiar and completely safe. Then, someone flips the light switch. Suddenly, every shadow seems larger, and every tiny sound feels important. Your imagination instantly begins filling in the blanks. Even adults sometimes feel uneasy in complete darkness. But darkness itself isn't dangerous. What scares us is what we cannot see. For our ancient ancestors, that fear could mean the difference between life and death. Once the sun disappeared, humans lost their greatest advantage, the ability to see clearly. Meanwhile, many predators became even more powerful after sunset. That ancient survival instinct still lives inside your brain today, and that's exactly what we're about to explore. Imagine living 100,000 years ago, before electricity, or even permanent homes. There were no streetlights, no flashlights, and no glowing windows. When the sun began to set, everything around you started changing. The bright world slowly faded into uncertainty. Humans depended mostly on their eyesight during the day. But at night, that powerful advantage almost disappeared. Many predators could actually see far better after sunset. For them, darkness was an advantage. For humans, it was a weakness. Every strange sound suddenly demanded attention. A harmless breeze and a hungry predator could sound almost identical. The safest choice was to stay close to your family. That is one reason campfires became so important. Have you ever looked across a dark room and thought something was standing there? Then you turn on the light, and it's only a pile of clothes. Nothing actually changed, except the information reaching your eyes. Your brain is always trying to predict what it cannot fully. During the day, that's easy, because your eyes provide plenty of detail. At night, much of that visual information disappears. Now, your brain has to fill in the missing pieces. And evolution taught it to expect danger before safety. Imagine mistaking a predator for a harmless bush. Making that mistake, even once, could be fatal. But mistaking a bush for a predator only wastes a little energy. Natural selection favored the cautious survivors. Have you noticed that children are often much more afraid of the dark than adults? That isn't because children are weak. Their brains are simply developing in a different way. Surprisingly, babies don't naturally fear complete darkness. As children grow, their imagination begins expanding rapidly. Their minds become incredibly good at imagining possibilities. But their logical reasoning is still catching up. That's why ordinary shadows can become imaginary monsters. A simple creaking floor can sound like approaching footsteps. A jacket hanging on the door suddenly looks like a stranger. Adults experience these illusions too, but usually recognize them faster. Experience gives the adult brain more evidence to work with. Almost every culture has stories about mysterious creatures hiding in the darkness. Ghosts, monsters, mysterious shadows, and strange figures appear again and again. But why do these stories appear almost everywhere on Earth? The answer begins with how every human brain handles uncertainty. When we don't know what's happening, our minds naturally search for explanations. Long before science, storytelling helped explain the unknown. Stories transformed confusing events into understandable adventures. Some stories also carried important survival lessons. Warning children about monsters sometimes kept them away from real dangers. The monster wasn't real, but the danger certainly was. These stories strengthened families and communities. They entertained people while passing useful knowledge to the next generation. To understand our fear of darkness, we need to return to the world of our ancient ancestors. Thousands of years ago, nighttime was not just uncomfortable. It was one of the most dangerous parts of every single day. After sunset, humans lost their greatest advantage, clear vision. But many predators became stronger when the sun disappeared. Their eyes were designed to collect even tiny amounts of light. Humans simply weren't built to hunt in complete darkness. A leopard could move silently through the trees. A pack of wolves could surround prey using teamwork. Even small creatures could become dangerous when hidden in darkness. This created a powerful warning system inside the human brain. A sudden movement could instantly trigger fear and attention. Darkness doesn't just remove light, it changes how we experience everything around us. A bedroom that feels normal during the day can feel strange at night. Even familiar places can suddenly feel unfamiliar. The reason is simple: your brain is receiving less information. During daylight, your eyes provide thousands of details every second. You instantly recognize shapes, distances, and movement. But darkness takes away many of those clues. Now your brain has to work with incomplete evidence. And incomplete information creates uncertainty. Your brain responds by preparing for the worst possibility. A shadow becomes a person. A noise becomes a threat. This is your brain trying to protect you. Today, humans' lives surrounded by artificial light and modern technology. We can turn night into day with the simple flip of a switch. But our brains still react as if we live in the ancient world. The reason is that evolution moves much slower than technology. For millions of years, humans survived without electricity. Night meant darkness, uncertainty, and possible danger. Our ancestors depended on their fear to keep them alive. Fear encouraged humans to stay alert and make careful decisions. But today, the same survival system sometimes activates unnecessarily. Your logical brain knows you are safe, but your ancient brain still asks if something is hiding nearby. These two parts of the brain are constantly communicating. Here is the surprising twist: humans fear darkness for a reason beyond simple danger. We are afraid because humans can imagine things that are not real. This ability separates us from almost every other animal. Animals usually react to what they see, hear, or smell. Humans can fear something before it even exists. A small shadow can become a terrifying creature inside our minds. This imagination is both a source of fear and a powerful survival tool. The same brain that imagines monsters also creates solutions. It allows humans to predict problems before they happen. This ability helped our ancestors prepare for unknown dangers. But today, it can create fear, even when nothing is wrong. Your brain constantly runs possible scenarios. Subscribe this channel and watch more videos.